Hello everybody, welcome back. It's been a few weeks, not too long, so I think it's been a month, but anyway, it's okay. Two things before we start. One, I'm not wearing any makeup, clearly, as you can see. I've been putting off this video for like a few days now, just because I don't really want to wear makeup. I'm in quarantine, so I didn't really want to put any on. I couldn't really be bothered, and then I thought, wait a second, I shouldn't have to wear makeup to put my face on the internet, so we're going makeup less, clearly. Number two is that I've organised a plan for this channel, this thing, because I really enjoy editing. I really enjoy making videos, making recipes, talking about books, all those kinds of things. And I had an idea that one day a week I'd do a video about books to do with reading, all that sort of stuff, and then on another day of the week I'd do food, so like a recipe, testing other people's recipes, all the things to do with food basically. I took this idea from the Artisan Geek. I'll leave her channel link below. I love her channel, I love her. She's a wonderful human. And she does like a reading update video, and I thought I'd do that. I've just realised with my book haul, they're all new releases. 2020 is the year that I have actually been on it with new releases. I'm never this on it. I rarely get a book the same year that it's published, and I've actually already read two that were published in 2020, and I've got quite a few. Wow. These are not all the books that I have bought recently. These are the ones most recent. I did buy a lot at the start of quarantine. I panic bought books. You know how everybody was panic buying flour and toilet paper? I panic bought books. So now I'm on a book buying ban. However, there's still about 3 that I want, so maybe we'll just slip past that. But let's get into it. The first one, technically I think this was actually published last year, but the paperback only came out on the 6th of August, so anyway. This is the Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa? That's how you say it? Let's check it.
The Memory Police was written by Yoko Ogawa in 1994.
It was written in 1994. Wow, I'm stupid. Maybe it's just a new edition. Why did I have to wait so long for the paperback then? This is kind of like a dystopian novel, I believe. Essentially, they're on an island, they forget the words for things. So they forget the words for ribbon, they forget the words for hats, and these memory police go around getting all the hats, getting all the ribbon to make sure nobody questions it. And I thought this was actually quite interesting, but I think there's one character who remembers all these things, and so I'm assuming that's what sparks things. It's quite small. I am really excited to get to this. I really love the cover. I think the cover's really interesting, it's really artistic, and it just seems like a really interesting concept. I'm not a massive dystopian fan, however, you know, why not try it? The next one is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I have heard amazing things about this, and I'm so glad I got it in hardback because I don't want to wait for the paperback, because I've heard amazing things. This is essentially about 2 sisters. I believe they can pass for white. I think when they're teenagers they both run away. However, years later, one of them is back in the village or the town they both run away from with her daughter, and then the other twin is passing as white, and her husband doesn't know anything about her secret that she is black. And I I think is so interesting. And I believe then their children connect. I may have got that mixed up with another book. Honestly, I'm actually rubbish at this. What is the point in me doing this? We're only on the second book. Anyway, I believe that's what it is. I have not heard one bad thing about this, and I'm so excited to read it. I did want to take it with me on holiday, but one, I wasn't really in the mood to read, as I haven't really been much all year. However, that is changing. I've read 3 books in the past 4 days. Well, I'm on the 3rd book in the past 4 days, but that is good for me and this year. Anyway, I'm really excited to read this one. I think this is probably one of my most anticipated reads, and I think it's also really important to look at black literature, whether it's fiction, non-fiction, although do read non-fiction, it is really important to educate yourself, but also to appreciate writers that aren't white, that aren't straight. Expand your horizons, and it's important that everybody reads diverse books. And this one just sounds bloody amazing, so why wouldn't you? Why would you not? Because I bloody want to. The next one we have, ironically, is written by a white man, and God, I look pale. Yeah, film in front of the sun, they said. This is The Room Where It Happened by John Bolton. This is, I'm sure everybody knows what this is, but I pre-ordered this 2 days before it was published, because why not? And this is essentially, I may have got this right, I may have got this wrong, but John Bolton was a White House advisor to Trump, and then he got the sack, or did he leave? And then apparently this is a tell-all thing. I don't really know. It's chunky, but I am interested in reading more politics. I do think the American political system is really interesting. I studied it at A level, and I only really know about history politics in terms of America. So this will be really interesting to look more at modern day politics and expand my knowledge. And I think with everything that's also going on in America at the moment with regards to the election and the primaries, I think this is a good one to hop into. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it, because whilst I did buy it, whilst I do want to read it, the other books sound more exciting. This just sounds informative. It's not gripping me as much, but I do want to get to it. The next one is Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Keane. I think that's how you say it. In case you haven't guessed yet, but I'm rubbish at talking about books I haven't read. I am crap, basically. But this one, anyway, moving swiftly onwards. This one is about 2 families, and they don't get along, or they do, but there's some kind of tension, and then the children try be friends, but then a tragedy happens. I think there's police involved, or the men might be police. I don't actually know. Again, heard great things, not as much as The Vanishing Half, but I have heard great things about this. This one I was so excited for, but now I'm thinking about it, the reasons why I'm excited don't make any fucking sense. Because this is Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan. First of all, the cover is beautiful. I love this cover. This cover is beautiful. I love the blue. I love it. Kevin Kwan wrote the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy, which I have up there. You can't see it, but it's up there. Have I read it? No. Do I know if I like his writing style? No. Did I think, forget that, I'm gonna go and buy this, which is expensive because it's hardback and it's new? Yes, I did. This is about a girl called Lucy who somehow finds this man. She comes into contact with this man, or he just turns up, and he's a bit of a knob, and she doesn't like him at all. And then later down the line, she's with her fiance, and then this bloke comes back and she's suddenly drawn into this web of deceit and all this stuff going on. Great description there. Great job. Honestly, why did I buy it? Because it sounds amazing. But I want to get to this. I don't know if I should read the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy first though. I kind of do want to document that for the lols. But beautiful cover. So do I normally buy books because of the cover? No. Have I done? Yes. That was it for my book haul. As you can tell, top quality. That was some top quality right there. On to now the books I'm currently reading. It's rare for me to be reading 4 at once. Normally I have 1 physical book on the go and then 1 audiobook on the go. Right now I've got 1 audiobook and 3 physical, so don't know. Let's start with the audiobook. I am currently listening to You Are a Badass by Jen. I'll leave it on the screen. I started listening to this because I was ironing all the summer holiday clothes and I needed something to listen to, and I thought, you know what, let's go for this one. I downloaded loads of self-help books because obviously lockdown has got us all in a place where we're not happy. Most of us. Some of us are fine, some of us not so fine. I decided to start listening to You Are a Badass. Not for any particular reason. I knew I wanted to listen to one of the self-help ones I've chosen, and this cover's yellow. It excites me. I thought, you know what, I'm struggling a bit with feeling sassy. I'm struggling a bit with feeling badassy. This basically just takes you through how to be a badass. It takes you through understanding, like looking at yourself, how you view yourself, and it's so relatable. I was really concerned at the start it was just going to be a load of do this, you know, do this, and it focuses a lot more on the mental health aspect, and rather than just saying you're fabulous, you're a badass, it really looks and analyzes at why you don't think you are, which I think is really good, and it's really beneficial, because it's all well and good you trying to convince yourself that you're sassy and a badass and amazing and confident, but unless you actually examine why you're not, then you're not gonna really get anywhere. And I'm really enjoying listening to this. I often listen to audiobooks whilst I'm driving or whilst I'm on a walk. However, I'm currently in quarantine, as I said, so I can't leave my house. So I've only really been listening to it when I did the ironing the other day, which I clearly did for 2 hours, bloody hell. However, I do have some more ironing to get to tomorrow, so I will be delving more into the rest of the book. Carrying on, one of the physical books I'm currently reading is also a self-help one, and this is Good Vibes, Good Life, How Self-Love is the Key to Unlocking Your Greatness by Vex King. I didn't get very far with this at all. I think I was still in the introduction. I think, oh yeah, no, I got to around page 45, I think, yeah. I read this while I was on a holiday and I was really enjoying it. However, I think what we were doing, we were traveling between hotels, we were traveling around Spain, and I wasn't really feeling reading. I'll talk about this when I discuss my books I've read so far this year, and when I talk more about my reading, but I wasn't in the mood to read. I've heard great things about it, but I think at the moment, maybe it's more likely I'll read this now. I think I don't really plan on picking it up this week. but I really do want to finish it. It's nothing against this book, it's just I have to be in a particular mood for physical self-help books, if that makes sense. It probably won't, and nobody will probably know what I'm talking about, but you know. The next one I have, which, why I haven't finished it, honestly, Lord knows. Well, actually I do, I wasn't in the mood to read. But anyway, this is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. This is a tiny, tiny book. It's fucking tiny. It's tiny. It's essentially a collection of vignettes talking about this girl who lives on Mango Street in Chicago, and just her growing up, going through life, trials and tribulations. I did enjoy what I read, but then I started reading it. I don't know how far I got. I think I probably got about halfway, just under halfway. And when I started reading it, I was really, really enjoying it. And then the next day, I just didn't enjoy it. And again, I can't say it's because of this book. I genuinely think it's because of my mood that I was in when I was on holiday. I just was not in the mood to read at all. And so I just thought, I don't like this book, I do not like it. Whereas in fact what I think was actually going on was the fact that I didn't want to read, and I was trying to force myself to read because that's what you're supposed to do on holiday. But I do want to pick this back up. Again, it's really thin. I could probably fly through this in one sitting. The next one. So I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I honestly do. I love her writing so much. She's one of my favourite authors. You know, she's one of my favourite authors. I knew this after I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and then I knew it after I read Daisy Jones and the Six. I asked for her books for Christmas. I had read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, or actually, correction, I listened to them, which I do recommend. Especially Daisy Jones and the Six, I do recommend listening to that one. And so I asked for, I think it was 4. Yeah, I asked for 4 of her books for Christmas. My mother, bless her, she got me them all. And I read Maybe Another Life earlier this year, and right now I am reading One True Loves. I started it earlier, just early this afternoon, and I'm already on page 111. I am in awe. I prefer this to Maybe Another Life, and I'm only this much through, and I loved Maybe Another Life. Not as good as Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, not as good as Daisy Jones and the Six, but they're on different dimensions. They're on different universes. They are elite. Anyway, let's crack on with this one. The main protagonist of this, Emma, she falls in love with her high school sweetheart, and they get married. And then on their 1-year anniversary, Jesse, her husband, his helicopter gets lost over the Pacific Ocean, and he's presumed dead. And then later in life, I don't know how much later, whether it's a year, I think it's about a year, she meets one of, doesn't meet, she then reconnects by chance with a guy that used to work in her family's bookshop. And then so they get together. Their love blossoms, they get engaged, and then who turns up alive again? Jesse. I'm not spoiling anything, this is the premise of the plot. And then Emma has to decide or choose or do something, I don't know, I haven't got that far yet, between Jesse and Sam. And I am on page 110 and I've already been taken through the ringer. It's so good. After this I'm just gonna go, just gonna sit down. I need to finish it. Like I need to finish it. I love it so much. So yeah, I highly recommend if you didn't catch that so far. It's amazing. So now on for the mini little TBR. I do have 3 books on this list. I'm going to say that the books I recently bought and my currently reading ones I do also want to get to, so they are also on this list, but there's no point me going over them again. So there's just 3 on this one. The first one I've had for a while, and again I've heard everybody rave about, and this is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is essentially about Eleanor, who I think she suffers really badly with anxiety, she has OCD, she just suffers greatly with mental health, and then I think something goes wrong. I don't really bloody know, and it throws her through a loop and she has to try and deal with that. I think this would be really good, really interesting to read at this time, especially with what's going on. I myself have been thrown through a loop, so this will be quite good. It's also been reviewed by Jojo Moyes, who said it was funny, touching and unpredictable. And then also I've got 1984 by George Orwell. I have read this, but I read it years and years and years ago. I read it when I was still at school, I think doing my GCSEs, and it's now my brother's GCSE text, and so in order to help him, because of the lockdown situation, I've been helping him with his history and his English, and so in order to continue aiding him, I need to refresh my memory of 1984. But I do enjoy George Orwell. I haven't read much of his other works. I've read Animal Farm, very good. I do love Animal Farm, and I remember Animal Farm better than I remember this one, so I need to go and refresh my memory, because the only thing I remember is that the main character is Winston. And then the one that I'm most excited for is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Some of the books I panic bought at the start of lockdown, well, I'd say a week before lockdown, I think, I bought loads of Toni Morrison books. I bought The Bluest Eye, I bought Home, Jazz, Beloved, Song of Solomon. I've heard this is probably one of the better ones to start with Toni Morrison's works. It's a lot smaller and apparently it's a lot easier. Don't really know what that means. This is set in Ohio in the 1940s, I believe. Pekala, who belongs to a poor black family, and she spends her entire time praying and wishing for blue eyes like the white people in her class, I think. Yeah, like the white people in her class, because she believes whiteness is associated with beauty. I'm not sure what else happens after that, but I think it's really, really interesting, and I really want to delve into this one. I'm sorry for rushing towards the end, but my battery is flashing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave my Instagram and stuff and Goodreads and Twitter and all that down below, and I'll see you soon.